What's up, everyone? Alex Sanfilippo here, founder of PodMatch. Hey, I'm excited to share some data that I pulled over the last year with you. Throughout 2025, I asked podcasters one simple question. Can you please send me a link to a recent favorite episode of your podcast so that I can listen to it? Simply put, that was the question I asked. I asked via messages, emails, text, anywhere that people would respond to me. I asked this question, and I got 2,035 people to respond to me, and I logged everything I learned along the way. What basically the links that they shared, I wanted to log to figure out, like, what can I learn from this? And the whole idea behind me asking this question, so if you're a podcaster, and I hope that's who's watching this, you want to grow your podcast, right? Well, a big part of growing your podcast is actually getting it in front of people in a way that they can listen to it. And I learned some pretty alarming things throughout 2025 by doing this that I want to share today, because I believe it will help grow your show just by you getting things right instead of wrong. So when I'm going to scroll down now to the actual part of the report, I encourage you to check out this whole thing. I shared some deeper thoughts in here, and I'll have a link to this blog post inside of below this video. Okay, so here is the actual data I want to get into here. Again, it's 2,035 people. And I'm not going to go line by line. I'm going to skip around because I think I can keep that really high level. Number one, first off, Spotify is absolutely king. It's more than double the next platform gets shared. And you might be saying, well, great, I share Spotify, so that means I'm in that number one spot. That's not what this means. This simply means it's what the most people sent me this. But did you know that only 8% of the world can actually open a Spotify link? Only 8% of devices can open a Spotify link. That means computers, that means phones, any way you're sending it, only 8% of people. That is not an accessible platform to be using. So Spotify is actually, I have nothing against Spotify. I think obviously they've done a phenomenal job, right? But it's not an accessible link. Most people, again, you're cutting out 92% of your potential listenership by sending them a Spotify link. They can't even open it. Like if you sent a Spotify link to my phone, I don't even know what you're sending. I'm going to see just a blank thing saying like unavailable link or something like that is what my phone is going to show me. So remember, you got to think accessibility. Spotify is not a good link to use. And look, 28% of podcasters are using Spotify as what they're sharing. Okay, number two here. This one is the most alarming out of everything. No link or broken link. If I ask you, send me a link to your podcast so that I can listen to it, and you say, you can find it, you just lost a listener. Like, I'm not going to do that, right? But even worse than that is sending a broken link. And so many people do that. They don't even realize it. And so listen, if you're probably in this list, or maybe you're not, but like 21% of podcasters in the list of not knowing how to actually share a link to their podcast. If you're like, I want to grow my show, listen, I'm past 50% now of podcasters. I can help you grow your show just by getting this one thing right. Share a link that works, right? Now you might be like, oh, Alex, I share a link that works. You might not. Have you tested it through an incognito window? Have you sent it to yourself to a different device to see if you can actually open it? So many people that were trying to send Spotify links, they're logged in their Spotify dashboard, sending me that link, their admin link. Same with hosting providers, same with all these other platforms. People are looking at their link because they can access it. But when you send it to someone else, I'm not logged in as you. I can't actually open that link. So again, like 50% of people are already getting it wrong in podcasting. More than 50%, right? YouTube. This is the first one I'd say is accessible. It's not my favorite place to send people, but anybody can open a YouTube link. So this one isn't bad. The crazy thing is it beat out Apple. Like Spotify, I mean, if you think Apple's been in the game since podcasting began, right? It was the only option for so many years. YouTube is pretty new to the game, and they actually surpassed just by a little bit Apple. I think we're going to see them rise to the top. And I'm actually okay with that because that is a much better link than these other two options that are number one and number two, right? So, and Apple is also not fully accessible to everybody, just like Spotify. So I don't think it's a good link either to be using. Again, I love Apple. I love Spotify. I actually use both products. I like them both a lot, but they're not good for sending links because not everybody can access them. Next up, Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout's a hosting provider. 7% of podcasters are sharing Buzzsprout links. Listen, I'm a paying Buzzsprout customer myself. I love Buzzsprout. You need to watch them. If you're not using Buzzsprout, first off, I encourage you, use Buzzsprout. They are actually going places. The fact that they have this kind of market share is unreal. And I actually suggested one change to them. If they make this one change, they would be my second favorite out of all these options I'm going to share here. Speaking of my second favorite, right? Like what you're like, oh, wow, so then what's the first favorite? Number 6 is my first favorite. Your own website. This is always the best. Now, there's arguments out there of like, oh, we can use these intelligent links, and I'll get into some of those. They're below on this list as well. And that's all fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, like, what's the best win for you as a podcast host? To get listeners to your website. So let's just stop beating around the bush. Let's just get them there, right? Send them to the actual blog post you have about a specific episode. Yes, they might have to click an extra link to get to the actual, to listen to the podcast itself, or maybe it's just embedded on the page. On mine, you have a written version, a video, and audio on that page. You can go jump to wherever you want, and there's plenty of ways to do that from my actual page, including a QR code, but I want you on my website. I want you to be there above anything else. This is the best thing to do, and only 6% of podcasters are currently doing it. All right, so I've kind of gone through some of these high-level things. All these, it's pretty much, it's pretty similar all the way through. Nothing really crazy here. All this makes sense. I did actually like this one, ask my preference. It's a little extra friction because if I ask for an episode of your show, you can be like, well, where do you want to listen? It's adding that extra back and forth. So like I don't do it, but I do always appreciate whoever does that. Episodes.fm. This one was actually really good. This is the only intelligent link that I think is working right now. There's some others on this list, but they don't always work. If I send you an episodes.fm link to an episode, it'll give you all the options and you can click the one you want and it'll take you to the episode. Now, a problem with like something like Linktree, and listen, I'm not for or against any of these platforms, right? Is that it's just going to take you to the general podcast, not a specific episode. Episodes.fm can actually take you to a specific episode, and I think that makes it really valuable. The last one I'll share here is I got Rickrolled twice throughout the year, and I actually love that. Nothing says, leave me alone, I don't want you to listen to my podcast, and I don't want podcast listeners, like Rickrolling somebody. Straight to the point. I love it. If you don't know what it is, below, further down in here, I've got a link to it so you can be Rickrolled yourself if you don't know what I'm talking about. But listen, this is it. This is really an interesting thing. All right. Like the fact that so many podcasters don't really know how to share their podcast episode, yet the number one thing they say they want is to grow their podcast. Get this right. I'm telling you, if you don't have your own website, your first thing is to invest in your own website. If you're like, Alex, I really can't do that. Fine. Start asking preference. Use Episodes FM, right? But don't use any of these other platforms. Don't do this any other way. Because if you get this right and you do these things the way I'm sharing, I'm telling you, you are going to be able to grow your podcast faster than you think. And maybe start growing it for the first time. Because for all you know, you might be sending a broken link every single time. Get someone to test it. Get some feedback. I'm telling you, 2026 can be a much better year for your podcast than 2025 if you start getting this side of things right. So I hope this was helpful for you. Again, I'll have the link to the full report below so you can take a look at it yourself. And my name's Alex Sanfilippo. If there's ever anything I do to be helpful with growing your show or being able to monetize it or anything like that, I'm here to help and serve however I can. So thanks so much for checking this out and I hope you're having a great day. Take care.